Bruiser Flint was on the bench next to Cal, watching the game, coaching the game, and he's joining us on the Chuck and Bo Show now, Arkansas basketball assistant coach. Welcome. Good morning.
Good morning, guys. What's going on?
Man, we're watching this team, and, we've been hearing about them, and it looks like you got a great roster, and then you turn on the TV, and you're like, man, that looks a little different this year. That was a good team, obviously a good run last year. Well, what have you been seeing from these guys through 2 exhibition games?
Well, coaches look at it a little differently than fans.
Yeah.
We still think we got a long way to go. But we did have 2 good exhibition games. I think our guys played really hard, played with great intensity. You got to clean up some things. I mean, season really hasn't started yet, so Monday's the first game. I think we feel good about where we are, but I think we know we have to get better.
Cal kept saying during that game, which was weird to watch during the game, him have a headset on the sideline for a minute, while he's trying to coach. But he said that we need this, and then he talked about it after the game. We needed this. How pleased were you with the way that your team responded after kind of getting punched in the mouth early?
Well, I'll be honest with you. One of the things about the game was it was a quick turnaround. Usually when you do exhibition games, you give yourself about a week to get ready for the next one. So we played on Friday. Usually you give yourself either till the next weekend or late the next week to play. But it was a quick turnaround for us. Plus, it was a road game. We had a lot of stuff going on there with Cal coming back and his former players. So we weren't necessarily – our prep wasn't, extensive. And I thought our guys really handled it pretty well. I think that's one of the things, looking back, you got to see, because you're going to have quick turnaround games in which your prep is not what we call a physical prep. It's more of a walkthroughs and film and things like that. So I thought our guys really handled it well. We didn't get off to a great start, but we kept playing. Like Cal said, as long as we keep playing, we got to give ourselves a chance to try to win.
Yeah, it was interesting to me that he said that after the game, because it looked like at the beginning that, the Razorbacks were kind of, getting into it, so to speak, gradually, and Memphis comes out super sharp. But I just wonder on the bench, when you find yourself in a situation like that, not just in that game, but maybe generally speaking, just continuing to play, making the adjustments, knowing that you've got the talent to come back and win the game. It just seemed like that was pretty evident in the first half too.
Yeah, we did. But you got to give them credit. They were ready. I mean, they made some.
They did.
They came
You're
out.
right.
They made some shots, and I thought we missed some easy ones to start the game. We missed a few layups. We missed a couple foul shots. They came out. They pushed the ball. They knocked down a few threes. Little Doug McDaniels. He came out. He was super hot to start the game. And I got to give our bench credit. They came in and gave us a spark. Malik Thomas came in, knocked down some threes for us. Next thing you know, we gradually started getting back in the game. We picked up our defense also, too. We got some steals. We got a couple stops, and then we kept going. But, like I said, we gradually just came back in. We kept up our intensity. A lot of that had to do with Malik. He played extremely well. He brought the intensity. He made some shots for us. And then, like I said, we just gradually got back in the game.
Yeah, Malik hit 2 threes in the first half that stopped runs. And, you've been around a while. Talk about Malik Thomas and maybe how he compares. He looks like he looks like an All-American is what he looks like.
So far, so good. I'll put it to you that way. So, now, he's played well. One thing I like about him is he really competes. He plays with great intensity. He's led us in rebounding in 2 games because he sticks his nose in there. He got a toughness about him. Still a freshman. You guys get all the fans, they get all crazy about him. But, these games really aren't real. And a whole bunch of, I wouldn't say pressure, but I think he's done an unbelievable job of picking up our energy and really competing. And you know what? He scores the ball. I mean, you see that. The one thing, he has a knack for scoring. That what he was known for as a high school player, and he's been able to do it in our 2 exhibition games.
Bruiser Flint, Arkansas basketball assistant, with us here on the Chuck and Bo Show. Coach, when you've got really good players, guys that know they can go get a bucket, and adversity piles up a little bit, sometimes a team turns into individuals that know they can go get a bucket, and then it doesn't happen, and then it just kind of builds. It looked like to me these guys at some point in the game just kept becoming more of a team. Well, how difficult is that when you recruit the kind of players and the return the kind of players that you have from last year to get them to rely and play on each other and play together?
Well, one thing I will say since we started with this group was I always felt as though they're a good passing team. And if you're a good passer, you always feel as though a guy give you the ball when you're open. So, and I think we've had that type of chemistry from the beginning, even in the summertime. I always felt that way. I don't know about the other coaches, but I always thought, though, you know what, we got a chance to have a team that's a pretty good passing team. So we won't have super high turnovers. That's when you start playing individually. That starts to happen. But I always felt as though we would share the ball with one another, and we've been able to do it in the game. And so guys know, hey, if I'm open, I'm usually going to get the pass. They look for it. They're ready to shoot when it comes to them. So I felt good about that actually in the summertime. About we'll be a team that plays what we call station to station, or will we be able to move the ball, move the defense, and be able to get guys easier shots? And I think we've been able to do that so far.
What have the two bigs that you got, Ewan and Pringle, what's your feeling on that situation inside? I mean, you won the rebounding battle the other night. It seems like that area has been addressed pretty well.
Yeah, I think the guys have given us what we need. I think Malik scored the ball for us a little bit. He was a scorer at Florida State. Mm-hmm. So, I think we need that a little bit. And Nick plays. I know he got a little foul trouble, but Nick plays with great energy. He took a charge, which they don't call charges anymore.
Right.
So he took a charge. We're like, dude, just go vertical. You know what I mean? Even the referee was like, yo, we don't call that anymore. You know what I mean? Tell a guy to go vertical, right? But those guys, I think, are a good combination. Nick plays with great energy. Malik is the scorer. Malik struggled, I thought, a little bit in our Cincinnati game, but he played towards what we were looking for more in the game against Memphis. He gave us some points. Like you said, we rebounded the ball, and I think that's going to be key. I think this team will be a good scoring team. Now, we got to have some balance. Your guards can't shoot all threes and try to score all the points. We need a little points around the basket, and we got that a little bit from those guys.
Boy, the schedule sets you up to have all the experience you need at the end of the year. Not only in conference, but just the non-conference schedule that you play. And I know Cal does this routinely, right? But I've heard also a lot of, college basketball people that have covered him for a long time say, yeah, but he really does it when he thinks he's got a really good team. What will it be like navigating this schedule, and how does it benefit you?
Well, I think all coaches do that. They think they're really good, they'll play anybody. Now Cal has a reputation because he's had a lot of really good teams.
That's fair. That's fair.
I think it sort of fell in place. A little bit of it is, exposure, being on TV, those types of things like that, being in those games. Cal likes to play in those games, and which is specialty games, Duke on Thanksgiving, Houston, in a game in New Jersey. He's not a guy who likes to go on these trips and do all those things like that. But he likes to play those games where it's you're playing one game as a one game specialty game, and that's why we scheduled it this year. And I think things just fell into place. Texas Tech and Dallas just fell into place that way. Now when you look back, you say to yourself, "Oh my goodness!" Especially when everything started coming about who was ranked and who was in Elite Eight teams. We didn't necessarily, when we were scheduling these games, say we're not going to play that team because they were in the Elite Eight last year. We just looked around and said, "Oh my goodness, they were in the Elite Eight last year." But Cal's always challenged himself. Even when we go back to our UMass days, he's always challenged himself in terms of the schedule, get you ready for league play.
We obviously focus on the Elite Eight teams, the big guys, but even like Southern, Monday night, I saw where Joe Lenardi's got them projected to be in the NCAA tournament. Yeah.
I saw that myself. I was like, we were playing Southern. They picked them to go to the tournament, right? But even last year, Lipscomb and Troy and one other team, we played like 4 teams other than the big boys that actually either played for their conference championship or made it to the NCAA tournament and played in some other postseason. So even our schedule last year, the teams that people think you're supposed to beat, we played some pretty good teams. And like I said, it got us ready.
Chuck was mentioning Acuff earlier, and maybe it was even during a break, about, man, he gets downhill and can get by really good guards so fast. What kind of added dynamic does he bring to this team?
Well, I like it because I think he plays a great balance. He doesn't necessarily get out of control. And that's what he does. I mean, people told us that you got to worry about him not passing the ball as a high school player. And to be honest with you, he's been great at it. He's been a big reason why I think we share. When your point guard shares the ball, that makes your whole team, the whole dynamic of your team, so much better. And you know what? He can go get one when we need to. And those guys have always done well with Cal. If you look at his players from the past, if he has a dynamic point guard that can really go get a shot, then he lets him go get it. But also those two really learn how to play the position and be the general out on the floor.
Coach, starting year 2 here on Monday. So you guys have been here a year or plus now. Does it feel like a completely different world, having just gotten here, trying to scrape together a roster, figure out who's going to be on your team, versus having a summer and then you had injuries? Last year you couldn't really practice like in the off season like you wanted to. Does it feel like this that you've been here a while now?
Well, yeah. Well, one of the big things in college basketball now is retention. You know what I mean? Like Penny, you got a whole new team. He had 15 new players from last year. I think that's really hard. And we were able to, bring back DJ, bring back Billy, bring back Carter, bring back TB. So we were able to have some retention. That helps your guys who you bring in that are new, because they have a little bit of feel for what Cal does, how he has to do it. They help coach. When you have retention and you have some good players coming back, and all those guys played a lot of minutes, they'll help. And the guys making their adjustment and coming into the team, whether they're freshmen, whether they're transfers, I think that makes a huge difference for us. I think you can see it a little bit when we play. So I think retention is a big thing. Like I said, Cal always is able to put it together. He's always been able. He has a reputation of having good players and putting them together and making them play hard. So that type of stuff is easier. But having those guys back has been big. I think it really helped in terms of our attitude. We made a nice run last year, and I think that's really helped us in our adjustment and adding the new players.
All right, we'll get you out of here with this. Bruiser's a big Phillies fan, and they're not in the World Series. But I wonder, whose side of this are you on? Or are you L.A., Toronto? What are you just watching Ohtani? How are you viewing the World Series when you get a minute?
Well, I just go back and forth because my team lost, so I don't care who wins anymore now. So once we especially we lost to the Dodgers. Dodgers been, I'm a little old, so I remember the Dodger Phillies from the late '70s and '80s. So and I know the Dodgers they put us in misery a lot of times. So, but once my Phillies go out, I'll watch it, because there's not much else on, and I'm a big sports person. But I don't really care about who wins the games. Although the games have been, when we got off the plane the other night, and I was like, the game is still on. It was like 2:00 in the morning. I was like, I said to Chris Willard, I was like, dude, they're still playing. And he's like, no way. I said, I'm telling you, they're still playing. So we turned it on our phones as we're getting off, and that's when the guy hit the home run. So it was crazy.
18
innings.
It
was crazy.
Wild.
How about that?
Well, hey, congrats on the exhibition season. I know that's all it is, but good luck to you guys this year. Appreciate you always coming on the show, and we'll see you out there on Monday.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, guys. I'll see you guys.
Thanks,
All
Bruiser.
right.
Appreciate it, man. Bruiser Flint, Arkansas basketball assistant.